Is this going to keep crashing? Are we going to bounce from here? What are the levels? We're going to look at the liquidation heat map. We're going to pull up the charts, and we're going to say exactly why we saw Bitcoin just decline so much over the past 24 hours. But folks, I think there could be at least a short-term bounce in the horizon. In fact, I even opened a trade on some alts, anticipating a little bit of a bounce. I do want to give a big shout out to the subscribers on X and all the subscribers we got on here. We jumped in a trade on Blofin. We're doing pretty good. Maybe caught the bottom right there. Even if we go to, say, the 1 hour chart, you can see we got a really, really good entry point. We're going to try to maintain this trade for a while. But let's look at the rest of the markets. Bitcoin is down 2.5%. We fell below $60,000. I want to give, of course, a big shout out to Arculus, our stream powered by Arculus. Of course, Ethereum needed to be powered by Arculus because it fell 2.4%. Seen a little bit of a relief on the 1 hour chart there. However, Salana fell 3.5%. BNB fell 3.2%. Like I said, Bitcoin fell below $60,000. You see it right here. We fell down to about $59,712. What are the major movers in the markets? And Josh is going to pull up some liquidation stuff in a little bit. But not much is moving up except for Chainlink. Chainlink is showing some strength here.
Oh, Chainlink.
You can see Chainlink is up 0.1%. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Starknet also up. Tron is up potentially on some fees. We're going to, some really, really positive news on fees. We're going to talk about that. But let's look at the biggest loser. Folks, are you ready to have no coins in your portfolio, be a loser? The only way you can make that happen, go ahead, hit that like button. It doesn't cost anything. Go ahead, hit that like button. You're going to go ahead and move your portfolio into the green. Because if you're in ENS like I am, ENS is down 13% today. EJ, this thing was moving up. Still up for the week, still up for the month. But that is a sharp decline. What is your theory on why it fell so hard?
I think you kind of you said it right there. I mean, it had a really strong pump, and a lot of times when you get a really strong move on the, earlier in the week when there's a pullback, you're going to see it pull back hardest. So what I like to look at on days like today, what you're looking at there is when Bitcoin was falling, which coins lagged. At first Bitcoin was leading the fall, which coins fell less, and then which ones bounced the hardest off of it. And it was really, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. We got that Avalanche pillar right up there behind you. But a lot of the coins we've been talking about here recently took less of a dip. Altcoins showing relative strength. Not a lot of, like you said, ENS had moved this week. Tau got crushed on a hack. But if you look at Ton, actually didn't fall as hard. Tron didn't fall as hard. Salana actually got a little bit of a pump into it. So finding coins that are acting different than the rest of the market, that's what I like to do on these big moves. The same way going up versus going down. So near another one that we were looking at didn't get hit nearly as hard. So I'm actually a ZK Sync or Layer 0. Both of those, I think.
Chainlink, seeing the little bit of a bounce for Chainlink today when the rest of the market's red. We look at some of the other losers. We do have Tau is down 12%, really 13%. Whiff and Brett taking some losses here. Both are down about 10% within the last 24 hours. We also have Aave down. Floki continuing its bleed. Floki is now down 41% just for the month here. I'm actually interested. Brett, the biggest gainer for the month. And Floki, one of the biggest losers for the month, but actually got a few coins below that. Tia, I'm surprised Tia has fallen 50%. Got to reassess my whole Tia thesis there. Gala, no surprise we're seeing Gala fall 44% there. Whiff.
Roasted.
So we got Whiff crashing, Brett pumping. Josh, you got any insight why this might be happening?
Yeah, looking at, you want me to just jump straight into liquidations? Because it is quite the sight on these charts today. Obviously, we're going to be breaking down 5 different reasons today why Bitcoin broke below 60K. And most of you are going to be familiar with the sell-offs happening from Germany, the sell-offs happening from the US, how much selling pressure is left. That is what we're going to be covering. When we look at the liquidation maps, I don't believe it is that much selling pressure that does exist back in these markets. Now, I've been showing you guys these liquidations every single day. We jump below 60,000. We still have that giant candlestick at $59,500. However, again, what I wanted to pay attention to was what's happening on the daily, the 7-day, and 30-day with these liquidation volumes. And what we're seeing, guys, this. Check this out, right? When the red side is lower than the green side, this is very simple. Keep it simple, stupid. That is what we live by. This is bullish, okay? Now, if it was the opposite and the red side was higher than the green side, this would be bearish. Now, yesterday, the daily was bearish. You know what else was bearish? The 7-day. So what I want to see now is the weekly still bearish? And if not, what's that price action? And of course, it is not. So the red side is getting eaten in. Bears are getting eaten up. And of course, the bulls are looking to be more reliable here in the coming week. And what we're looking at is maybe downside pressure to 58,000, 59,000. This $59,000 little candlestick right here. There is a decent amount of liquidity there. Now we're seeing over $1 billion in long positions open up just above us at $61,500. So this is what I've been talking about with you guys on. I'd be very cautious if I'm listening to traders out there that are saying it's going to go to 49K, it's going to go to 45K, it's going to go to 52K, it's going to go to 33K, and that you should sell everything and get out now. Look, the reality is most people are down 60, 70, 80, 90% in their altcoins right now, okay? So selling the bottom is never the answer. That is just not ever the answer in most cases. So what I'm looking for specifically right now is what's the underlying fundamentals? What are the charts telling us on the monthly or the 6 month or the 8 month time frame? What are we looking at, moving into the rest of 2024? And when you look at your heat maps, guys, yes, you have a little bit of liquidations below us, the $59,400. That is that candlestick right here that we highlighted. But when you start zooming out, just go to the weekly, right? Let's go to the weekly here. Weekly, there's not a lot of liquidations. Really, pretty much eating all the liquidations below us. They're stacking up now at $64,100. You go to the monthly. Again, this is super easy to read. If you guys don't know how to read this chart, you're like, man, Josh, what are you looking at? That looks like a Picasso, or this is a Van Gogh. This is the Starry Night. That is what this looks like. It's very basic. Okay, the brighter the color, the more likely the price is going to move towards that bar. So when you see a very bright yellow line at $69,600, this tells us that there's a ton of liquidity at this range. And yes, no, I've been speaking. I spoke for like 24 hours straight, guys, yesterday. I think I live streamed for like 8 or 9 hours. And so I lost my voice a little bit. But $69,100, $69,300, and of course, $65K. So yes, while we're consolidating around these ranges, in my perspective, this is going to follow suit for one thing and one thing only. And that is what our boy Kelly Kellum told us in the BitLab Academy here in the basement earlier this week. I actually missed this, which was the futures gap that was created on Monday. If you guys didn't know, there was a futures gap created earlier this week and it just filled. So if you guys don't know what a futures gap is, this is very, very simple. On Friday, your traditional markets close. So Bitcoin futures, you may have heard of these. Those are going to close on Friday and reopen back up on Monday. So what that looks like, when you have the price of Bitcoin close at this case, $61,000 on Friday, but it opened up at $62,000 on Monday, it means we had a weekend pumped. It creates a future gap or a gap in this market, an imbalance in this market that almost, I think 95% of the time always ends up getting filled. And so even though we had pumped, that's exactly what we saw in the futures gap. And we have now, and since then, came and filled that position. And this is what a lot of traders are looking at. They're looking at that gap being filled. And traditionally, when it gets filled to the downside, that creates a nice little support level to really push us up to that next range here. So shout out to Kelly for that one, showing that futures gap being filled. If you guys go to your indicators, and I'm actually not even logged into my on the trading view here, everything is RSI, stochastic. MACD is looking to reverse on the daily. There's a lot of bullish sentiment, and then we have liquidation stacking up above us heavily. And the last thing I want to point out here, go to the 30-day time frame. Okay, we're now at $12 billion. Okay, $12 billion in short positions being wiped out if we go back up towards $70,000. So the scale is like this. It is 9-to-1 odds in favoring the bulls at this point in terms of upside price action. So can we come down to 59,300? Yeah, there's some wicks here, but that selling pressure is being exhausted. And at the end of the day, guys, even though Bitcoin is being sold by the U.S. government, we have the MountGox unlock. We're going to be breaking that down, but generally that starts to be priced into these markets early on. I think they were being priced in May and June. Type 1 in chat if you agree with this. How many of you heard sell in May and walk away?
Yeah.
Type 1 in chat if you heard that, right? If you sold in May, you would have missed out on a giant rally back from $57,000 to $72,000 or whatever the price point was, right? So there's all this FUD from May. Then June came around and we did have another pullback. We dropped back down to 72K all the way where we're at today. Everyone telling you the market's done. We're going to go to 49K. We're going to go to 55K. We're going to go to 33K, right? It has been FUD central for the last 2 months as we're consolidating around significant price levels, and that makes me incredibly bullish.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chart. If you sold May 1st, yeah, you got out $57,000, and then you missed the entire pump up But if you sold, May 31st, you're in a lot better position there. We have. I want to read a couple chats there. Josh, you sounded like a 35-year-old who smokes cigars. Also, some people are saying, "Are you a clone? Are you a clone?"
I'm AI.
He's AI. Folks, there you go. It is determined he is AI. And one last question, Josh. Did you deviate from your normal diet of Wonder Bread and water?
Yeah, they did ask that.
Folks, I tried wheat bread for the first time.
Yeah, there you go. And folks, not only that, during lunch, he deviated. He had some boiled chicken breast that was low sodium. And so, that was just way too much seasoning.
Yeah, way too much salt.
I would say, give Josh some love. Smash those like buttons. He's been crushing it on the content. If you guys missed it, I think you guys were doing a Twitter space last night that had like 6,000 something people in there. So people are like, wow, who's he talking to so long? He's talking to you guys. He's trying to get that information out there so you guys can make some money. So if you're not following both DZ and Josh on X, I mean, obviously we do a lot of things here on YouTube, but we do a lot on X as well. So make sure to check out Discover Crypto on X, follow DZ, follow Josh, because we're always bringing more information in there. One thing I wanted to mention about that short squeeze or the liquidations up at those higher levels, if you guys don't realize, this is part of what makes Bitcoin move so quickly and so violently. We talked about it yesterday that Bitcoin makes most of its gains in 10 different days in the market. And if you remove those 10 days, then they don't have those gains. These short liquidations, if we start moving back up to those all-time highs, it's going to happen really quick. That's why a lot of people are super bullish for July. I think once we get through this holiday week, maybe we get an ETF announcement mid-July, we go into the Bitcoin conference, we start heading up towards those all-time high levels, we could very, very, very quickly blast through 70K, 72K, 74K, and then make a fast move to 80, and it will shock people that aren't prepared. So just be prepared.
And to get this, I have one last chart I wanted to share with everybody just to have some perspective on the historical movement of Bitcoin's price in July. I posted this out on X. If you haven't followed me or DZ on X, make sure you guys go do so. But July is extremely bullish for Bitcoin, and there's a reason why. When we look at this chart here, okay, this is a beautiful chart, and I think we can see pretty much the whole thing here. See what you need to, all right? You have 2024 is the top line. So this is why July hasn't filled yet. We're in 2024. So that makes this 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, etc. Okay. This is the historical movement in Bitcoin's price. Now, I can probably move this over and make it a little bit easier for you guys to read. Yeah, there you go. Boom. Look at that. So what we're looking at here, okay, you'll notice that June is historically a pretty bearish month. This is just showing us on a chart what months are the most bullish for Bitcoin and what are the most bearish for Bitcoin. Red is highlighting a bear month, and green is highlighting a bullish month. You'll notice February, by far, February and October are some of the most bullish months for Bitcoin historically. They're almost always green. However, my favorite thing to look at is look at June, okay? June is ugly. June is red the majority of the time. It's like probably 60% of the time, it's a red month for June. But notice every time it is a red month for June, you have an insanely green month in July. It's every single time. So every single time this happened in history, when you had a red month in June, you had a green month in July. When you had a red month in June, you had a green month in July. When you had a red month in June, you had a green month in July. And it is massive gains. We're talking historically, on average, I think this equates to 7.98% movement in Bitcoin's price action. So historically, July is going to give us at least an 8% return. The median is upwards of 10%. And of course, having that bearish July that we just had, which was extra, and can you give me the exact percentage? Was it 8? It's right here. It's 8.77%. And that pullback, I'm expecting positive action into July this year.
And I do want to say, we actually did a whole video on this 2 days ago. So go ahead, watch that. Go into our, go to the channel, go to videos. And there's one other secret metric that I'm not going to mention. You got to go watch the video. I cover literally everything he just said. Thank you for, I guess you didn't watch it, Josh, but that's fine. And there's this thing. This is the chart you actually need to pay attention to. This is pretty cool. This is the chart. Go watch this video. These blue boxes, that's where all the action's at. And folks, we're about to start a blue box, but you have to go watch that video, everybody. So go. I highly recommend it. Now, I got something for you here, Isaac. Why exactly is Bitcoin crashing? Bitcoin fell below $60,000, and I have the 3 reasons why. Reason number one, you can see it right here. Why is Bitcoin price down today? Reason number one, we finally got a red day for the ETF outflows. ETF outflows had 5 green days in a row. And then out of the 11, we saw net outflows of $13 million. Looks like Grayscale, they actually had outflows of $32 million. So we had another red day. Isaac, you're cutting me off here. I'm teeing you up. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and go on a side tangent right here. One of the 3 reasons we're going to go ahead and just kind of combine. We have a lot of whale selling pressure. Whale transfers are impacting the price here. We had a whale transfer 1,800 Bitcoin to Binance. This was over $100 million. This was a massive amount. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. So we had a whale just drop tons of Bitcoin on Binance, and it was over 3 minutes that they sold. We got another article really breaking that down. Of course, there's the Germans. The Germans sold a whole bunch on July 1st. And not only that, we have Bitcoin miners selling a lot. In the past 72 hours, miners sold $2,300 or 2,300 Bitcoin. So reason number one, we have outflows. Reason number two, we have large sellers. We got the whales, we got the Germans, we got the miners. Reason number 3 here, of course, well, everybody, Jerome Powell delivers some crucial messages for the crypto markets. This had a significant implication for all the markets. We saw it on the NASDAQ. We saw the Russell S&P 500. So we spoke at a panel that included some big bankers. It had the ECB president, and it had Brazil's central bank governor. So this is, Brazil's largest economy in South America, European economy equal to America, roughly. So we're talking about massive, massive insiders here. Powell said to these insiders that the Fed has achieved quite a bigger progress in its struggle with inflation. You would think that's a good thing. That would move the markets into the right direction. However, he is emphasizing the need for sustained progress before considering any reduction in interest rates. So we got some good news, but we're not seeing the news that it will lead to a reduction in interest rates. And because we're not seeing these rate cuts, well, we saw the markets just crash left and right. People want these lower interest rates. Why? Because that'll spur home demand. That'll spur car purchases. That'll just increase the amount of money in the markets, making the markets move up relative in a positive direction.
Real quick, we got a super chat. I can't even pronounce the name. KEAXN. Josh, have you checked out XODEX yet? Love from Malaysia. Real quick, that's cool. We've got somebody watching from Malaysia. I'm curious where everybody that's watching is from. We've got about 800 people in the chat right now. While we're pulling this up, drop a flag in the chat for the country that you're from. I want to see.
Send us your address.
And if you're in the U.S., let us know the state, maybe your hometown you grew up on, the street you grew up in, your child's pet, and your mother's maiden name. But that's all we need. That's all we need.
Let's see them flags.
Don't put any of that out.
Real quick, too. Another. This is from Crypto Crabman. He says huge reasons. I would say another sneaky reason to consider, and this is something you want to consider in holiday week, especially in the U.S., is people closing positions for the 4-day holiday weekend. And that's true. A lot of the heavyweight traders, they're not going to want to have positions open when they're away from their trading terminal, when they're, if they're going out of town and things like that. So closing along is effectively like, going short.
They're going to be on the boat. They're going to be distracted by the fireworks.
Someone said Mykonos, Greece. Is that our boy Demos?
And also not only the holidays, it's low liquidity, meaning if there is a crash, it's going to be a hard crash.
Man, look at this. A lot of cool stuff. We got Italy. We've got Myrtle Beach. Somebody says Antarctica. I don't know if I'm
Dirty Myrtle.
That. Hawaii, New Jersey, Indiana, Missouri, Washington State, Utah, Jamaica, man.
Hey, man.
All right.
There they go. There's the flags, baby.
Houston.
I want to see the flags, guys. Represent.
H-Town.
To the super chat here, Exodex is actually kind of interesting. This is the first DEX that's integrating Caspa. There's getting some hype around that with the smart contracts that are going to be coming to their network. Caspa, by the way, guys, one of the best performing networks.
Yeah.
The entire bull run.
We mine Caspa, actually.
Yep. We have it right. Actually, is it upstairs or downstairs?
We move it. I think it's the upstairs one. I don't really know.
But been mining Caspa since like forever. So that mining is up a lot in terms of, what's actually produced for that. But Caspa hitting all-time highs, one of the best charts out there, one of the best ecosystems out there. We talked about this and highlighted it yesterday. It is roughly sitting at, I think, it's at 4.1 billion, now market cap, continuously crushing it and integrating those smart contracts. This is a top mover that cycle. The Exodex here, everybody's going, another DEX. We don't need another DEX. Well, the reality is if you guys have ever tried building or developing or using a DEX, there's a lot of issues that need to take place. One, we need one DEX for every chain, and that is exactly what Exodex is trying to do. Every chain Every chain, one exchange. So this includes Bitcoin, includes Ethereum, includes Arbitrum, includes BNB, it includes Caspa now. And they're integrating this here, I believe, coming up very, very soon. So this is a gasless DEX, okay? Zero carbon impact. I guess they're going with that. But cost per transaction is 0 cents per transaction on this network. I'd be curious to see how that actually works and dive into it a little bit more. But we'll do a deep dive at 4 p.m. here today. But again, it is omni-chain. You have this integrating almost every single major network that exists on the market.
Yeah, and really, really button down the hatches. Be careful, Jamaica. They're about to get hit with a very, very massive storm. I think it's the largest storm this early in the year. So yeah, just be careful out there. And shout out to Waffle House for maintaining operations during those periods. All right, now let me just repeat it one more time, especially for you, Isaac. There are 3 reasons we're seeing Bitcoin crash. Bitcoin fell to $59,000. Reason number 1, we saw Bitcoin crash today. Reason number 1, of course, the ETF outflows. Wall Street signaling we are not bullish on Bitcoin, at least today. The markets took that news very negatively. We saw a little bit of a crash. Reason number 2, we had the whales selling. Who are these whales? Well, it's just early Bitcoiners. Also, the Germans. We got the Germans selling. And then the Bitcoin miners. And then the last and final reason, Jerome Powell signaling, hey, don't be expecting these rate cuts anytime soon. So all that led to a perfect storm where Bitcoin comes down to $59,000. But let's also talk about some more FUD that might have a silver lining, everybody. MountGox. MountGox is sparking some fears. I went into it. I tried to find what are the actual details here, because there's a lot of asterisks people aren't talking about here. So we saw a little bit of a downtrend. We've been in a downtrend since this MountGox payments have been scheduled. And then some are attributing this to the potential start of the repayments expected in early July. The defunct crypto exchange may have started repaying creditors based on the transfer volume chart for tokens last move during the past 7 to 10 years. Now, TJ, I've never really even seen this chart. It really almost seems like a chart specifically for this. Tracking Bitcoin that hasn't moved in 7 to 10 years. What are your thoughts on that metric?
Yeah, I mean, we look at that a lot of times. I don't know if it's coming from Glassnode, but yeah, old coins, looking at whale wallets, that sort of thing. It is definitely something to keep an eye on when you see these major whales moving. We know that who this one is. We know this one is MtGox. So I think this is being such widely publicized. It's somewhat priced in. I use this as an opportunity to buy these dips, and you can see it when people go to do these major sells. They're getting bought up like crazy, just under 60K. So yes, we're seeing old coins move. These are the MtGox coins. It does seem like those repayments are about to get distributed. I don't think it's as scary as a lot of the major publications want you to think it is. It's a good story. It's a good headline.
And we're going to break that down, why it's not as scary.
There you go. So that's, it's interesting to look at, but for the most part, it's really just kind of like tracking whale wallets and whale activity. So, swim with the whales, they say, keep an eye on these things, but we still know what's coming. And I don't think we'll see it all dump, but we'll just have to watch and see.
All right. Well, back to this metric. These are coins that haven't moved in the past 7 to 10 years. The entire history of this chart, looking at the spent volume of the lifespan of 7 to 10 year Bitcoin, the entire history of this chart has disappeared because of an enormous sum of Bitcoin moved on chain, 10x more than the previous high, $9 billion. But by whom? It's not supposed to be who. Who said this? Who said Edwards? Learn your English. But by whom? MountGox. It looks like those distributions really are coming. So these are, now we can't have this chart start until 2017 because these are 7-year-old Bitcoin or 7 to 10-year-old Bitcoin. Obviously, we started at zero movement, and then we had a nice little spike into the 2017 rally around December. And so this is the OG Bitcoiners. A lot of them moved their Bitcoin then. You can see the nice little spike in yellow right there. I think I can zoom in. Yeah, so you see a little bit of a spike there. You see the old coins being sold in 2021. You see the old coins on the move during the crash. TJ, what do you think this movement is? Is this accumulation? Consolidation? Because it's coins that haven't moved for 7-10 years.
Yeah, I mean, that could be moves to OTC desks. I mean, if you look at the spike on the right compared to that spike there on the bottom, it's not that dramatic. What's the date on that? That was November 2022, maybe?
Well, you see the crash right there. So, yeah, that would be around, I think maybe we bought them October, November.
I think that's a lot of old school. This was right when FTX was going under. You got a lot of old school users using those sorts of things. So I don't know. I wouldn't put too much stress on. I'm not sure what it is, but Real quick, I wanted to mention super chat from Ziggy XX, who's been with us a long time.
Yeah, big friend of the channel, friend of ATB.
Yeah, turned 35 today. There's no better way to start my morning than with the Discover Crypto Fam and maybe a can of Guinness. So happy birthday, Ziggy YXX. You're the man. Happy to have you here with us. Hope
all right, well, let's all take a sip for Ziggy. Maybe it's Guinness. Maybe it's coffee.
Maybe it's Genius.
Maybe it's Propel.
Maybe he's just sipping on some Genius.
3, 2, 1, and then hit the like button.
Happy birthday, brother.
Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know. Here we go.
That coffee's too hot to make me go out my nostrils.
Oh, God.
All right. We have a giant spike, though. Look how giant that spike is just on the 7-year. So that kind of makes me think, yeah, this could be related to MtGox.
That is MtGox. There's no way. It has to be,
right?
The only thing that makes any sense. That's MtGox.
That's MtGox. All right, well, let's talk about the details. So, an unknown whale. Oh, I did say we're going to talk about the whales. This is pretty interesting. That whale on Binance, $180 million worth in 3 minutes. And then that is the candle right there.
It took some serious slippage on that, actually, which most of the time they don't do. Like that was just a market sell on a major exchange, and they took, I think, $600 or $800 slippage, got bought up like crazy. I think, you can see that wick.
Yeah, you can see it.
And I think wasn't it Kelly that was pointing out those wicks are, really show the strength of the buyers right there. Anytime it gets down in that below 60, it gets bought back up real quick. So that, to me, shows strength of the support, even though it is a little, support doesn't feel like it's supporting very much these days. That 58, 59 level does seem to have pretty strong support. And the more times we test it, if you guys watch Frankie Candles or a lot of those trading channels, the more times you test that support, the stronger it gets. Just like the more times you knock on the resistance, the more likely it is to fall. So I'm feeling better and better. Still not 100% out of the woods. We're barely hanging on. I'd like to see us get back up above 63, 64. And then we have clear skies ahead. So
the more you knock on the door, more likely it opens. Or what I like to say, the more the Kool-Aid man looks in your window, the more likely he's going to bust down your wall. So we got the Kool-Aid man. He's looking in the window right now. So I thought that was interesting. $180 million, and you saw it fall that much. Let's talk. The reason I'm bringing this up because I want to talk about MountGox, what the sell-off could create, because that was a $180 million sell. Well, let's dive into the numbers, folks. What you're going to find out going to make you feel a little bit more bullish. Now, they hold 142,000 Bitcoin and an equal amount of Bitcoin Cash. Why? Because it happened during the fork. Valued at $8.85 billion and $55 million. So, these two coins have diverged in price a great bit. Now, they're highlighting that creditors were met with two choices. Receive 90% of what they're owed in kind this month or wait for the end of civil litigation. About 3 out of 4 are opting for early repayment. So this is going to reduce July distribution to 95,000 Bitcoin. So we got 25% not going to be sold. The remaining 75% shave 10%. And so that leaves 95,000 Bitcoin. Additionally, there's two companies, two creditors. They have a claim of 10K Bitcoin and 20K Bitcoin. Bitcoinica and MtGox investment funds, respectively. They have signaled they are not selling those Bitcoins. So this 30,000 Bitcoin, 65K is now, they come up with 75K, but really it's 65K. So therefore, only 65K will be distributed to individual investors. So we go from 142 and already now we're down to 65. A lot more bullish, everybody. Yet we're not done. We're pointing out the fact that investors' holdings are up 13,000% since the incident, and selling all their Bitcoin would be an exorbitant tax event. I did not even consider this implication. I'm ashamed because I come from the accounting world. No one's going to want to have that tax bill. A lot of people are only going to sell 1% to 20% of their Bitcoin. I think there's going to be a very, very low percentage that receives, X amount of Bitcoin. It's just like, all right, I'm market selling it all now. The IRS and the tax man is going to be a major reason why. Have you guys even considered? Yeah, people don't want a 13,000% pump tax bill.
I mean, also though, like, it depends. Is it going to change their life?
A tax bill can. Oh, I get.
You're going to pay capital gains.
Let's just say you have 200K and you're like, all right, I want to buy a house. Oh wait, I can't because the capital gains tax is actually going to eat away a large portion of that money. So you know what? Now I'm just going to maybe sell 10% and go on a vacation instead.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be 10 or 50 or 60%, but I think it really depends on every individual's position. Like if you have a $400,000 mortgage and you're up, $1.2 million, you're going to sell $200,000 afterwards. Your wife might force you to sell. I really won't. No, I'm really not extremely bearish on the event. MountGox has been 10 years in the making. I mean, shout out to Jed McCaleb, who completely rugged the XRP community, essentially. But this is someone that got, like completely free from this. Like MountGox has been around for years and years and years and years. So I think the selling pressure that is going to exist from this, a lot of it's been priced in. And that's why I think we're seeing, the seller exhaustion start to take place. I actually was just on Twitter right here, and I'm just looking through posts. And we have a post right here. Bitcoin is not giving us a break right now. The first comment is, this shit is exhausting, right? Retail is exhausted from this sideways action, this boring movement, the low volatility. And that traditionally is, again, where we see whales accumulating. That's where we see institutionals entering. Cool, we have outflows one day or another, whatever is taking place. The reality is we have institutional inflows coming out at a faster pace than ever in history. And so it's just one of those moments. I think we're in a consolidation phase. I think a lot of MtGox. I think, again, I don't know if they're going to all sell it today. It might be, I would be on your side of this, of saying, okay, if they held this entire long and they saw it go, from whatever price they had it at to, $60,000, why would they sell all of it? Why? Yeah. Maybe take 50%, but if you're up that much, you are a true Bitcoin. There's no, if we were one of those people, you would be so Bitcoin maxied out. Mm-hmm. You would be like, all right, yeah, I'll take 25%. I'll take 50%, change my life, but I'm leaving the other, right? I think it's a very good perspective.
It's what Dazelle says right there. Those people were smart enough to buy, so most of them will be smart enough to hold.
Exactly. Yeah. I 100% agree with that.
We did have someone pretty funny. A tax bill can change your life if you don't pay it. That is for sure. I want you behind bars, said Uncle Sam, if you don't pay them. Moreover, just a couple more things on the MountGox thing. The distributions are going to be on several exchanges on several different dates throughout the month. So it's going to make a large concurrent selling less likely. And then they kind of do the math. They came up with a little bit of an assessment. If 3 billion is sold in one day, the market could cope with these volumes easily. I don't know how easily it is when it basically predicting a 20% dump. And so if it's sold over 30 days, the impact would be minimal. Taken in combination with the chance of interest rate cuts this year, it's likely to be offset by these price supportive events. So we got some supportive events will offset the downward pressure. 20% slump. I would say, folks, that actually seems about right. You look right here, it fell about $1,000, $6,600. You could say maybe even less than that. It fell only about $700. So if $180 million makes it fall about $700, I could see a few billion being, that would be $12,000 if it fell 20%.
Well, and I think that that point is very important that they just illustrated. What are the odds, like these people that are distributing this stuff, why would they sell it all at one shot in one day? They probably would. Yeah. Their job, the trustee's job, is to take care of the creditors. They're not interested in dumping the price of Bitcoin. They're incentivized. They're paid to, their job is to get as much out of it as possible. So they will most likely sell it off slowly over 30 days. They'll sell a little bit, let the market recover, sell a little bit, let the market recover. So it could delay the pump a little bit, which a lot of these people say, like, I'm not worried about it. This is the price coiling up. So I think, like they said, the 30-day sell-off will have a minimal price impact. I'm expecting that much more than like, all right, market sell, boom. I mean, we don't care what the slippage is. Like, I just don't see it.
We had another one. All right, Kelly, if they already wrote off the losses, now it's all gains, I believe. TJ, oh yeah, Kool-Aid Man looking in my window saying, oh yeah, I don't like it. What if it's the bathroom? Is that a compliment, right? Oh yeah, I'm like, hey, thanks. I'm blushing now. I love this boring period. More time to look at other projects. TJ, trust me, brother. This is my first cycle. Bull market is over.
Yeah, I was just responding to him, Brian Schultz. We've been going back and forth. Trust me, bro. This is not my first cycle. The bull market is just getting started.
I would agree.
Trust me, bro.
Signaling that the world's largest Bitcoin miner, they're not selling. To channel some Leo DiCaprio, Marathon Digital said it aims to further strengthen its holdings through open market acquisitions, but it may also sell to support operations in the future. They have not sold any of its Bitcoin holdings during the past month. They held 18,000 Bitcoin worth over $1 billion, according to the report just released today. The miner said they aim to continue to strengthen its holdings through open market purchases and investing in other opportunities to increase its Bitcoin yield. However, it also noted that it may sell some of its Bitcoin in the future, aka, when we get closer to the top. They opted to not sell any in June. So, like to TJ's point, the people that have more Bitcoin than anybody, the world's largest Bitcoin miner, they're saying now is not the time to sell. We might sell in the future, but we're not selling today. That's signaling this bull market is just now starting, everybody. We have buy the fear, everybody. This is, you want to pull up FOMO?
I'll pull up FOMO in a second too. I just found a really cool chart.
Oh, he's got a really good chart.
I'll pull it up with FOMO because it will correlate with that pretty highly. But when we're looking at this chart right here, guys, this is hysterical. 60K won't hold, right? That's what everybody's saying right now, right? Type 1 in chat if you think, Bitcoin's going to crash to 50K. Type 2 in chat if you think it's going to go to 70K. What do you think it's going to go first? Just give me your price prediction overall. What's Bitcoin going to go to in the near term? Is it going to be 50K or is it going to be 70K? Because this is awesome. I love this chart. I can't believe I didn't even see this. This is the current Bitcoin price, right? So we went up to $70,000, came back down to 57, back up to $72,000, came back down to 60, which by the way is a little bit of higher of a low. And then there's this green chart that shows us going to go higher. Why are they writing it out like that? What is that green chart behind us? Why would that be overlapped or overlaying the 60,000? If we just scroll over here, remember when we were at 25K? Yeah. Broke up to a new high. Again, this looks identical. Broke up to a new high. Why can't I draw on this? What is that? Gasp? Yeah.
Glasp.
I'm like breaking node. This. Let me draw. There we go. Why can't I draw?
Let him cook.
Let me cook. It won't let me cook. All right, I can't cook anymore, guys. Right. Either way, no matter what, we're looking at this.
Do you have black ink?
It is. No, I have. I don't even know. Well, either way, guys, the chart is looking pretty identical to this. We got that flash wick, and what I want to point out was this flash wick right here. 25K won't hold. Remember, everybody was saying
flash wick.
Did I say something else?
I don't. Some people have tinnitus.
Sounded kind of a little bit weird there, but yeah, we had that flash wick down, and so are we going to see the same consolidation pattern? That's exactly what we saw play out here. I think this feels the same. The market energy, the sentiment feels the same as 25K.
All right, I love it, and this is just highlighting buy the fear. The sentiment is there, and I'm kind of interested. The 25K range. I'm seeing similar ranges. We're in the orange, just like we're in the orange now. We're in the orange then, so we're seeing similarities just across the board. Now let's talk about
real quick. We got this super chat from Roosevelt Taylor. Appreciate the super chat. Thoughts on Avalanche. Price prediction in 2024.
I'm getting more and more bullish on Avalanche almost every single day. To me, back if you ask me, just seeing all the partnerships with Polygon. 12 months ago, 24 months ago, I'd say, oh my God, Polygon, just what they're doing with L2s. They are just the best L2. No one else is even coming close. You see, they're ranked 24. The news kind of came out that people didn't really care about the Polygon partnerships. Even Starbucks didn't even care. It was almost like they were paying for partnerships that didn't really have any long-term utility. Avalanche, though, seems to just, it's crushing it with the fees. VCs love it. There's still some vested tokens, which means they're going to be, incentivized to, keep pumping this token. Total supply, 443 million out of 720 million. We're slightly over 50%. And when you go to the max chart, looks pretty damn good, folks.
For FOMO right now, the Fear and Greed Index tool, guys, we're going to have to use this one tomorrow because guess what? We have the APIs and everything being transitioned over to the new website right now. So you don't have to change anything, but we're getting a complete replacement. It's going to look so much better, so much cleaner. I'll actually give you a little bit of an inside scoop on what this looks like right here. The new interface is going to look beautiful, but today, guys, if you've been looking the last 2 days, it is, the metrics are going to be off just a little bit because we're transferring everything over. The update should be done very, very, very soon, but this is essentially what it's going to slowly turn into and look like. It is a brand new interface, way cleaner. You can see it's integrating Shubaduki. There's going to be a lot of tie-overs and integrations that we're doing with that character and a lot of fun animations. Really big things coming for that platform, and that should all be out very, very, very soon. I wish I can give you an exact time, but when you talk to a dev, they tell you one deadline, and it's usually 3 deadlines afterwards. So it is coming. It's happening within the next 24 to 72 hours. This website is being updated. Get excited because I can't wait to share the new interface.
All right. The super chat actually asked for a price prediction. I think you'll have 12 hours to get out at $250, maybe 12 months from now.
I don't have a hardcore price prediction on it right now. I do think, again, it's funny, we got that. I moved the Avalanche pillow onto the set today right there next to DZ. So I'm watching both Avalanche and Tron sitting right there. What are they, 10 and 11 on? 11 and 12 as market cap wise. I could see both of them flipping Cardano. They're all right there tight together. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. But when I'm looking at what they're doing, what the activity is, what the chains are, I think they're both kind of sneaky picks to be easy triple ups and some of those kind of things. So, I mean,
there's also another question. Is Avalanche a RWA play? technically kind of like Near is a AI play. Like, I guess, it's more of a broader ecosystem that might kind of specialize in that compared to its peers. But it's not like it's its own thing. That
I mean,
that's
it's
the
a
only
layer
thing it does.
one. So if they build RWAs on it, sure. But really, a lot of those things, they want the security of.
We got breaking news. Hit that like button if you want Josh to reveal the breaking news. Oh, is it Riot Blockchain, or is there a riot in the streets?
Can we?
But mostly peaceful.
Do we have audio? Is the question?
Yes. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
That's not Jason Lee from Chasing.
Not the CEO of
Jason Amy. Oh, it's Jason Less.
Jason Less.
No, not the famous Scientologist.
Oh, I don't have it on your computer.
Oh, you don't have it on my PC at all?
No.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I'll act as Jason Less here. Riot Platforms announced they've increased their hash rate by 50% in 1 month. 50%.
If you like it, oh wait, they've removed likes. Oh no, because I'm looking at mine. Never mind. I was going to say I could find it by looking at Hit Network's likes, but Elon is now hidden that, so that is not a possibility.
That is insane.
Really?
Yeah, likes are hidden now, and there's some UI for X. There's a little bit of a side tangent here. There's some displays that don't have likes at all, so it looks like they're going to phase them out completely. Seems to be the case there. So pretty cool. I have a pretty big Avalanche bag. I'll be upset if I don't get $200 Avalanche price. I think it will hit 200. I think it maybe even spikes 250, 300 for a very brief time. Avalanche, like a lot of coins, like to have a very, very short window to get those parabolic gains. But speaking of buy the fear, there's someone I got to throw shade at. I got to throw some shots at this idiot. No, he's not an idiot. Some say he's super smart. Talk about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has been telling you to stay away from Bitcoin. If you invested $1,000 in Bitcoin at Buffett's first dire warning, here's what it would be worth today. Not even the legendary Warren Buffett's always right. Indeed, he opined in March 2014 that traders should avoid Bitcoin. At the time, the Oracle of Omaha stated that though the technology is promising, it is unlikely to gain any traction as a currency. What is interesting, he was partially correct. It did get traction. The tech was promising, but, still seeing it is now being used as a currency. At the time, March 2014, he was telling you to run for the hills, stay away from Bitcoin, drop it like a hot potato. It was only $600. Right now, $60,000. So a lot of people can do the math already. If you invested $1,000 when he told you to stay away, that would be worth $100,000, a 9,900, really a 10,000% increase. But what was he doing at the same time? Well, Warren Buffett around these times, 2012, around the time he's telling you to stay away, he's investing in Dairy Queen, everybody. So he stayed away from Bitcoin. He bought some Dairy Queen. And if you didn't know, Berkshire Hathaway, Dairy Queen, owned by Berkshire Hathaway. I actually had no idea. You could buy some Blizzards or you could buy some Bitcoin. He said stay away from Bitcoin. Just the experts are going to try to shake you out. The markets are going to try to make you fearful. Even the smartest investors will say stay away. But if you have conviction in a coin, you have conviction in Bitcoin, stick with your gut, stick with your instinct, because you see what's happening to the world. You see the meltdown of your currency. And there's one exit. That exit is that big orange hope. That is over Josh's shoulder. Everybody hit that like button for the new upgrade to our set. Josh, what are your thoughts on the new price ticker above your left shoulder?
I would like to see it green.
Yeah.
That's definitely the case. But no, it's sick. I love seeing these, and it's a really, really cool feature just to have in the background, constantly looking at that price. I mean, again, it used to be at $15,000. So I'm really just I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I love it. I think it's going to say, I can't wait for it to say six figures. It's going to say $100,000 one day.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I'll break it.
Chasing Amy's great. Clerks is better. I used Clerks for my senior project, and it was very embarrassing because I seen it cussing. Boy, my ears got so red. Let's talk about fees real quick. Ethereum fees are in, and they're smoking Bitcoin. They're smoking everybody, and this is also going to make me bullish on Avalanche. Ethereum fees, $2.7 billion. That's essentially what all the people staking ETH were able to, spread that amongst themselves for 1 year. Bitcoin followed with 1.3 billion. So ETH 2.7, Bitcoin 1.3 there. We have some other coins though that I really wanted to mention. ETH Network also had just the first quarter, 365 million. That is an impressive year-on-year revenue growth of 155%. So it looks like this year is going to have even more fees. The fee is generated through user transactions, reached a notable milestone of 1.17 billion in Q1. This is an 80% upswing from the previous quarter. So from Quarter over quarter, we're up 80%. Year over year, we're up 155%. Bitcoin came in second, 1.3. One of the reasons, Bitcoin ordinals, caused a notable increase in transaction fees. Following Bitcoin number 3, TJ's favorite coin, Tron. Tron was number 3, 450 million. Of that 450 million, what did Justin's son get, TJ?
That's the $1 billion question, I guess.
That is the $1 billion question. One day, the $1 trillion question. We don't know. Then number 4, looks like we have Salana. Solana is known, although it's known for its low fees. So it's used, a high amount, but it only pulled in only 241 million. Then we had Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche, DK Sync also on the list. So Binance Smart Chain, I'm surprised BSC, not that it's high, that it's so high. BSC, it's like, I feel like I haven't used anything on BSC in maybe once in the past 12 months. I don't even know. It was like maybe cash out old gaming tokens.
It's going to be mainly it's going to be primarily like Asian.
Yeah.
That's where all the BNB users is. It's like Tron. Like I've never used Tron in my life. You go overseas and only people use Tron.
I guess they don't like.
They don't
base.
even use ETH.
You know what it is? They're not jumping on baseboard or the base wagon.
Not yet.
They're not on the base wagon. Let's talk about one of my favorite altcoins. It's not Cardano. It is Chainlink, everybody. Chainlink. What's happening? The whales are accumulating Link. 54 fresh wallets withdrew $30 million from Binance in the past 7 days. Could it be related to this breaking news, everybody? Tokenization trend, Chainlink and Fidelity bringing $7 billion fund data on chain. If you actually look at what's actually happening here, they created it's an abstraction layer, Chainlink. They partner with Fidelity to tokenize $7 billion worth of asset data from the Fidelity's institutional liquidity fund. They're calling this partnership a landmark production use case for tokenized assets. And so they announced this today at Point Zero Forum, reveals that Signum, a crypto banking group, has tokenized $50 million of Matter Labs company treasury reserves. These are held in Fidelity International's money market fund and have been issued on the ZK Sync blockchain, participant of Chainlink's Scale program. Here is the quote from Sergey, the co-founder of Chainlink, basically the face of Chainlink here. Fund tokenization is likely the largest digital asset trend happening today. And it is a large confirmation that global asset management firms are entering this growing market. This is confirmation the banks are entering crypto. The global reach and efficiency benefits of tokenized funds are far greater than traditional methods and will over time become the way the entire asset management industry operates. AKA, banks will make better profits using crypto, and over time, crypto will take over banking. That's what I'm hearing, and it makes me incredibly bullish on Chainlink.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of those show me and the incentives, I'll tell you the outcome. Banks like to make money. If they can make more money using this, they will. A lot of people in the chat getting excited about Link. I know it's one of my favorite projects outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, Solana, some of those other ones. But let us know in the chat. I think we have a lot of Chainlink holders in our audience.
We're the Link Marines. There's a Link emoji, like a little Chainlink thing.
Well, I was just going to say drop a 1 in the chat if you hold Link, drop a 2 in the chat if you don't hold Link yet, because I think you probably all will, especially once this bull run really gets
going. And if
going.
you're used to typing out the Chainlink emoji or actually pulling up the emoji, show you're a real Link Marine. Throw out that Chainlink. Now, folks, we got a 7 p.m. video on XRP. I don't want to go into this too much, but at 7 p.m., I'm going to talk about this XRP lawsuit. Someone's saying it looks like it's going to end in July. They got a lot of reasons why it's going to end July. This is the lawyer Fred Rispoli, and he's talking about some certain dates and is kind of leading to some certain activities. And then I'm going to give my price predictions on where XRP is going to head, and then what you should do. Should you hodl? Should you sell? Should you buy more today? Stick around. Make sure you have on notifications. We'll cover that. And then also in that, I'm going to cover the whale movement. 230 million coins are on the move. So make sure you turn on those notifications. Salana, big shout out to Salana. If you didn't watch the Salana video last night, highly recommend that. We talk about $1,000 Salana. How is it possible? Is it possible? So, make sure you watch that. I cover all that. I talk about the Sol ETFs and all that.
It's actually surprisingly more possible than you think.
I was shocked.
It sounds crazy bullish, and then you start looking at some of the numbers and running them, and you're like, that, even if it gets to the same market cap that Ethereum is right now, that's pretty close.
Yeah, I found an analyst who's basically saying, oh yeah, $1,000. And another person saying $1,000. And some in the charts doing $1,000. And then in the video, I'm like, well, I'm going to kind of come up with my own metric. And it was using, I I can't remember if it was dominance or percentage of market cap, but I was like, all right, I'm going to come up with my own metric and see what we come up with. $900.
Wow.
And so, it is shockingly easy how Solana could get to $1,000, folks. It can certainly happen. Now, this is just going to be a fun, lighthearted story. This is the Taliban.
Oh,
what? I don't even know if that's going to deboost us. Taliban jailed 8 traders for holding and using crypto. And I thought they were known for their freedom, giving their citizens so much, like net neutrality and the ability to drive cars depending on anyways. Yeah. One of the crypto traders who for some reason, he wanted to stay anonymous. Come on, man, reveal your identity. He told Crypto News that Taliban arrested him and 7 others for using crypto in May. They were in prison for a month in the central prison of one of their major cities. It's important to note, the Central Bank of Afghanistan banned crypto in August 22, closing more than 30 crypto-related businesses in the region. What does that sentence remind? What government, TJ, Josh, what government did this remind you of? They banned using crypto and closed more than 30 crypto-related businesses in the region.
China.
China?
And if it wasn't China, it'd be who?
U.S.?
The U.S. Yeah, it's mostly China, but a little bit of U.S. too. So when your crypto policy is adjacent to the Taliban, maybe that's time to get Gensler out. Maybe that's time to shake things up.
Well, and look, let's use this as a moment. Look, if you guys, we saw in the chat earlier, we've got people from all over the world in this chat, and let's just be grateful that wherever you are, you can trade crypto. We give the SEC a lot of crap. I'm not going to walk that back. I still think the SEC is a corrupt organization, but in the United States, we got 4th of July, Independence Day here tomorrow. Excited for that. Just be grateful for the freedom that you do have. We do have freedom to trade currencies. We do have freedom to be leading the charge into the new financial order that's coming. And if you're here now and you're invested in this right now, you are the freedom. You do have the freedom to set this new financial order up, and it's actually happening. So pat yourselves on the back for leading that charge, and also enjoy the freedoms that you do have. I think I'm a big believer in what you focus on expands. If you focus on your freedom will expand. If you focus on your chains, they will get heavier. I'll just leave it at that. I read a story like that and you're like, you know what? I'm glad US isn't perfect. SEC sucks. The NSA, the CIA, all them, all the nation.
But we're not moving to Canada or Mexico.
Definitely not moving to Canada or Mexico, and definitely not moving to Afghanistan.
Oh, come on, man. It's good mountains. It's Rambo.
No,
you go.
Good
some
mountains.
people go travel New Zealand to see Lord of the Rings. Some people go and see Game of Thrones sets in Ireland. You can go to Afghanistan and watch where they filmed Rambo 3. So I think it's Rambo 3. If it's Rambo 2 or 4, let me know in the chat.
If I'm going anywhere, it's probably Costa Rica.
Costa Rica's nice. I
real
like Costa
quick,
Rica.
Robinhood looking, and folks, get your Q&A. We're going to do some Q&A to wrap up the show. So get your questions in. This is your chance to ask me and Josh and TJ, your hard-hitting crypto questions. Robinhood looking to list crypto futures in the coming months. We have seen when Coinbase released their list, those coins didn't really move too much. They had, I think they had Solana, Polkadot, Cardano, XLM, I think was on there strangely. And so Robinhood probably going to see the same thing. They're going to list a handful of coins. You're going to say, do those coins move? And they'll move maybe 0.2% to the upside, relative to Bitcoin there. All right. Any questions? What about El Salvador? I think they're proving correct, moving off a failing currency and, trying to use a different nation's currency that is largely inflationary. It was the US dollar. And I think, they're okay with it now, maybe even happy with it now. But when Bitcoin is $120,000, $140,000, they're going to be ecstatic. They're going to be hoisting that President Bukele on their shoulders saying, oh my God, you saved us.
Yeah, you meant El Salvador as the place to move. Not a bad spot. I mean, Bitcoin Beach down there, a lot of Bitcoiners. El Salvador's coming around. They've definitely cleaned up a lot of the crime there. Central America in general has a lot of different opportunities. You just kind of have to weigh your options. Costa Rica is the one I've kind of settled on based on a lot of different factors: price, distance, travel, hospital.
And you can hang out with Tio, Arcane Bear.
Yeah, exactly.
Keekson asking, does Atlanta snow? No, that's just Jeezy the Snowman. You've lived here longer. It hasn't snowed in the almost 4 years that I've been here.
Yeah, it does snow. It usually doesn't stick. You're not going to get a lot of snow. You might get, but yeah, it's usually, has it really not snowed in the whole time you've been here?
No.
It's usually good for one a year most of my life. One stick. You would usually get a couple flurries and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it gets cold here.
What's your updated Chainlink price prediction? 150s, 100 is my bear, 150 is my probably, and 200 is my bullish.
There you go. Yeah, we should get back to. I mean, I like when we do. I haven't really analyzed numbers and market caps and some of that sort of stuff. So maybe we'll work that into the 7 p.m. upload schedule.
Yeah, that's what I did yesterday. Really, with the Solana video.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do one of those on Chainlink coming later this week.
What do you know? Maybe I'll do it tonight with the XRP. Everybody, so stick around. Got to watch that video.
And if you don't have notifications on, make sure to. Sometimes on YouTube, the notifications get a little wonky. You have to kind of turn the bell off, turn it back on. So make sure to turn those notifications on. Keep an eye out on this video, on these videos coming out. As we get further into the bull market, time and speed will matter more and more. So you're going to want to be quick into those videos. So obviously, smash the like, share it with a friend, but turn those notifications on too, because you're going to want to get the most up to date.
If you want snow in ATL, you got to buy it from a local guy. Oh, talk about like those snow machines for skiing, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's what they're
talking
about.
We got a good question from Jesse J here. What is your updated Chainlink price prediction for this bull market? 200, 250 to 300? You're going to hate me. Mine's 40 to 50 bucks.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just that guy. I've been buying since $5. I'm like, it's a blue chip. I mean, but again, I have a different perspective. Some people are hoping for like a 50x. Like, I'm like, nah, I'm looking at that, the 10x. I'm going to buy a beautiful, nice GT3 Porsche with that money afterwards.
Great question from Patrick Pappy. Why are altcoins so dependent on Bitcoin's price? Clearly, some chains have more utility. I would say, look at it this way. Gold was like a linchpin of currency for thousands of years. You're trying to travel all over the globe before a certain family created central banks across a continent. Gold, if gold's up, your currency is up. Is gold down, your currency is down. Bitcoin is digital gold. So a lot of coins are just going to ride or die. When your coin is 55%, your asset is 55% of a thing filled with tens of thousands, you move the market, not the other things. And then even number two, what's Ethereum? Less than 20% of the market cap there? Mm-hmm. It was like 5. I have to check there, but yeah, no one is even close when it comes to market cap percentage of the industry as a whole. Nothing funnier than watching some charade skiing. Is that what they call it?
No, here's a good one. And this is something we could do more often. And this is, if you had $10,000, would you buy ETH, Solana, or
Ondo.
Something else? ... Or so like, okay, how would you allocate $10,000? Real quick.
I'm almost leaning towards. All right, so I've been thinking about ETH the last couple of weeks, and so I'm trying to think. Well, what is close to ETH but might be a slightly faster horse? Avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
Could be Avalanche. I can see 10K going into Avalanche.
That's an interesting pick. I would diversify it. I mean, 10K is a decent chunk of change. So I would be no Bitcoin. I would probably put 3 of that into ETH. Like I just expect
just one. It's just one.
You just get one?
You get one.
Just one?
No,
just
you can.
I'm going to divvy it up. What would I do with 10,000 is what I would. If you had 10,000, would you buy ETH, Sol, or you just asked if you had $10,000. So if I had $10,000, I'm not just picking one. I'd probably be doing 3 to ETH, 2 to Chainlink, 2 to Ondo, 2 to Sol, and then maybe like 500 into 2 AI products like mid cap.
If you could only choose one, though,
like
would it be the largest holding ETH?
To be honest, it'd be Ondo.
All right. If you got one choice, what are you choosing for your one?
Ondo boy chooses Ondo. Shocker. No, if I had $10,000 or I had somebody asking me what to do with $10,000 today, I'm gonna break the rules a little bit. I would put all $10,000 into Ethereum today. Right after the ETF launch, off the pump, I would start to diversify out. I'm going to assume I have profits at that point. Say that 10K turns into 12, 14K real quick. I would start moving down the top 10 and break it up. I'd move it all out of ETH. I'd put, maybe another 5 into, put 4 into Solana, 4 into Avalanche, and then let's say I had 12 after that pump.
Just say Ondo.
I would dig a little deeper and look at potentially Near and maybe IMX in the short term.
I don't hate Near. I got my Near so cheap.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I'm going to change that. No Near. I would go Solana, Avalanche, Injective.
Okay. I like those. Let's see here. Any other? Some people are buying some meme coins. Let's see. I don't know if you can scroll, maybe find some more questions. Get your questions in. We're going to answer a couple more Ondo guy, or okay, they love. Yeah, surprisingly, DZ didn't say Cardano. I know you thought I was going to say Cardano or Cardano alt.
Cardano.
Yeah, I was going to buy Nike. Is a good pig. No,
you see Cosmos in there. Let's see. Cookie says 10K ETH, 50%. Oh, 50% ETH, 20% ADA, 10% Atom, 10% Floki Sierra.
Comment on Atom. What are your thoughts of Crypto Cookie putting $1,000 to Atom?
Look, I hold a lot of Atom. I like Atom. It's good technology. It's necessary infrastructure play for the future. That being said, is it going to be the best pumper? Maybe not. I put Atom. I'm looking at it right now, similarly to the way I'm looking at my Cardano. Can I get higher returns in this bull market in something else? Most likely. Do I have a hard time abandoning it because I like what they're doing? Yes. So it's a great project. They're doing good stuff. Layer 0 is another sneaky one. Like if I might roll out of Cosmos into Layer 0 because it's similar tech, kind of competing newer technology in the same hemisphere, I guess you could say. So yeah, Layer 0 is a sneaky one. Again, it's debuted really high, but I know it's got really big money behind it, really strong technology. And, kind of like Chainlink, being that infrastructure layer that helps cross bridge chains is important. So yeah.
Yeah, it's sufficient enough. Sol, Arrow, MLN, Dot, AIOZ, and Duke. I love that one too. Yeah, I'm speaking from the 10K. I was speaking of guys was like literally just like top 50 projects.
Yeah, same.
Like obviously, is someone if you're like someone that's like a degenerate and you've been in crypto for a long time, you might be looking to take a little higher risks on that 10K. It really just depends on your risk adjustments. But I would agree. I like that portfolio too. That's a great one coming from Sufficient Enough.
And a good final question here from Ziggy. What are your fourth plans? Chat, what are your fourth plans? We're interested to know that. And I do want to give a shout out as you think about that.
My plans are to read an Arculus.
All right. Well, I'll jump on it for you. You can easily secure, store, swap, buy, send your crypto with a simple tap with 3-factor authentication. Your assets are safer than ever, everybody. I am a dog father, and I also like Snoop Dogg. So we're probably just going to stay home. We live really close to a downtown area that's going to have fireworks. Downtown Dallas is a small town. And so the dogs are going to be freaking out. So we're going to do stuff on Friday and Saturday. We're going to celebrate the 5th and 6th. Nice. And the 6th, my fiance's birthday. Big shout out to you, Kat. Love you. I can't wait to celebrate.
All right. Another great birthday here, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys at 4 p.m. We're going to be live trading, guys. Of course, you guys have been watching me live trade. We're even in a trade right now. Now we're already up on 10%. We're going to be doing this live with our newsletter today. I'm showing you guys how to use the TG bots. We're getting excited for the Duke integration. That will be launching here very, very, very soon. I'm just waiting for the text from the devs. And then most importantly, guys, the updates to the new FOMO website is coming very, very soon, guys. See you soon.
7 p.m. XRP. Be there or be square or be Jed McCaleb's pubic hair.
Shaved?